Thank you, Madam Chair, and, I really appreciate, I've gained a great deal of insight just having you here today, and I'm sure those that are listening and read the reports will also feel the same way. But Ms. Miller, I see in your testimony, you said you handle 70 billion security events per day for your clients? I mean, that,
Well, not me personally, but yes, IBM Security does.
I understand. So then I have an interest in veterans, and so they bring a wealth of skills from their military training, and then they got a lot of hands-on experience. Sometimes they're not able to transfer their military training over into various programs. So I guess my question is, what's IBM doing in their new collar program? Is that applicable to veterans? And then the second part of that, have veterans participated in this program?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a variety of programs targeted to veterans because they tend to actually be a very good fit for cybersecurity roles, whether they've worked in cybersecurity while in the military or they got requisite training once they've left the military. We have a Veterans Employment Initiative, so that's free training on IBM software, and it comes with a certificate at the end. We touch over 100 veterans per year with that program using IBMers donating their time. We also have a corporate partnership with the USC Marshall School Masters of Business for veterans. So we have IBM mentors, advisors, and SMEs donating their time to work with the veterans on capstone projects, so basically developing innovative solutions to real-world issues. And finally, we're also hiring veterans at all levels in the company and in the security organization. I actually, in January, was down in Austin, and we have a cohort of apprentices that started in the fourth quarter of last year. 50% of those apprentices are veterans. One actually worked in cybersecurity while in the military and then applied through the apprenticeship program once going private sector. Another one actually left the military. He worked for 10 years as a corrections officer, decided to use some of his military benefits, and now he's in our apprenticeship program. They're hardware hackers, and they're doing excellent.
Super. Then my next question goes to all of you. I mentioned earlier that Indiana's got 4 cybersecurity centers for academic excellence, and I'm having fun with the chair about Indiana and Michigan, but in reality, I'm just using them because I'm familiar with it. So the question comes down to how the federal government can further build on programs like they have at Purdue, and someone mentioned more like a 2-year program and so on. So I guess I'm just asking how we as the federal government, giving you the opportunity to expand on how you think we can be helpful in in that area, and to fill this 500,000 job need we have. And so this is going to be ladies first. Raj, you go first, and then Ms. Miller, and then back to Mr. Peterson.
So, as I said in my testimony, that programs like the CAE program, that is NSA DHS programs, NSF programs like CyberCore, DoD program like Cybersecurity Scholarship, Gen Cyber program. I mean, all of these programs has been so impactful to, I think the best thing about these programs is that it enables smaller schools to have resources to build Army on the ground. And then, once we have all these institutions making change in their own community, then collectively we are going to see so much in the nation. So, empowering this program, again, NICE has been extremely crucial for universities to get the momentum going. And also commissioning more programs like this that looks at how to train educators in cybersecurity, because that is the biggest challenge. In 2018, there were 114 PhDs in cybersecurity, and only 14 of them went to universities as faculty. So if we want to build pipeline in universities for students, we have to find some ways to train and prepare and allow educators to go into universities.
I see I'm over on time. Is it all right if I go ahead?
Yeah,
Or
of
they go
course,
ahead? Go ahead.
Okay, I'll be quick. The Higher Education Act, I talked about reforms there, really removing the obstacles on how people can use the funding, students, so that they're not pushed into having to go through a four-year degree. So I talked about work-study programs and using their benefits to work in the private sector in a field that's relevant for their career aspirations, as well as using Pell Grants for shorter education, certifications and things like that versus the four-year degree. I think is really important where we really could use some help there to help students.
So I think what NICE and NIST is best at is convening communities. And so a lot of our work is at the national level. We actually convene an annual K-12 conference to bring together K-12 educators and administrators from across the nation. We do our own annual NICE conference. It brings together industry, academia, as well as government. We also collaborate internationally. There's quite a few other countries that are interested in adopting the NICE cybersecurity workforce framework as a standard, not only for their country, but because of the global nature of work. But we fundamentally believe that a lot of the solutions and the answers are in the local communities, whether it be a state like Michigan, and the ecosystem that Mr. Sawatsky described is exactly what we promote in Indiana, in all of your different states, or at the local level, regional level, how that might be defined. So when I earlier described that ramps for cybersecurity workforce development, that's really about regional alliances, getting the K through 12, higher education, training ecosystem working together to meet local workforce needs.
I think fundamentally, we need more funding to grow the, cybersecurity workforce than we have now. I listen to my colleagues talk about, graduating hundreds of cyber pros at a time, and really, we need to be looking at growing them at thousands at a time. And the notion of early credentialing, building on what Ms. Miller said, is really important. I will let you know that my son Jared was pursuing his bachelor's degree in computer science, and I strongly urged him to obtain a professional cybersecurity certification in his sophomore year, and he did that, and he got a job, and he's actually paying for his own school now. He's out of the house, which is nice as well, and he's becoming very successful with that early credentialing program in allowing students to support that early credentialing in normal degree pathways. I think is really important.
Thank you. Now you back.
And at this time, we're going to recognize Ms. Johnson for